everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Paws On Animation channel and our new segment, Paws On Manga.
This is where we cover some of our favorite manga series and recommend them to you all, showing how much we love them. And this time we're covering the Korean manga, Solo Leveling. Might have heard of this one.
Yes, and with this manga blowing up in popularity recently and an anime adaptation coming up, we're so excited. We decided to cover what we've read of the manga so far, which is 6 volumes.
Yes, and before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and little pause videos.
Absolutely. The 7th volume was actually just released at this time, translated in English, so we're looking forward to reading that.
Yes, definitely. And we had actually only heard of this online at first. Some people that we follow on Twitter were showing panels of the manga, and what really struck is that it looked really great. You would have thought it was already animated. It was so well done, so detailed, so boldly colored. It looked like it was already finished. And they told us the name of the manga, what it's about, where to get it, and everything. And that already piqued our interest. So after a while, we were able to get Solo Leveling from our library. And we were not disappointed at all. It was really different from other types of manga we've read. This is our first Korean manga, or the manhwa, right? This is our first manhwa we've ever read. So this was something really new. And you really get your money's worth if you end up buying this or reading it. It's a very thick book. There's a ton of pictures, but it's not just pictures so that way they don't have to write. It's actually telling a pretty detailed story, and like they're trying to format like you're watching storyboards put together and you're watching a bunch of sequences put together like as if it were animated already.
So a little quick background. It translates from Korean as Only I Level Up, and it was originally released as a webtoon adaptation.
Right.
And that ran from July 25th, 2016 to November 4th, 2016. And it's actually written by Chukong, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and it's illustrated now by Dubu. It was illustrated by Shang Sung-ra. Well, it's the same person. That's his pen name, Dubu. And unfortunately, he died back in 2022 in July from a cerebral hemorrhage. So they're still continuing, and the artwork may look a little different now.
Right.
When you see the trailer that we're showing for the upcoming anime, because they had to find someone to replace him.
Right.
So it's going to be a little different, but the work that Sung-rak did, I should say, it was absolutely gorgeous. You see the colors and the picture and the intensity. It's like the pages have been dipped and saturated with color. They're beautiful.
Right, and that's one of the biggest things that stands out about it, even if you've never read it, is the artwork. And when they had the anime adaptation announcement, people were half excited, half concerned, because sometimes things get changed. And it seemed the biggest concern when they released the trailer was how the main character, Sung-woo, I think, right? Sung-woo looked. And the thing is that when he's doing these Sung Jung-woo, for the story, they're supposed to be like, it's normalized to have hunters in the world where they fight or capture, get rid of demons and monsters and stuff in certain locations, and they're paid to do this. And he's the lowest rank. And he starts off looking one way, and then as he's getting leveled up, I guess he glows up.
He glows up severely as it goes through each volume.
And then he looks completely different by the time he's finished. And when they show he looked like that in the anime, people were furious online because he wasn't as good looking as the book. It's like, well, it's a different person. That was your concern out of all the things, was that. So now you know why, if you ever had an issue with the drawings, that's why he looks different.
Yeah, and that can't be helped, unfortunately. So the actual anime is scheduled to come out the first quarter of 2024. It's going to be available on Crunchyroll. And the manga itself has run 14 volumes. It is finished. And as I mentioned, being translated for English readers now. Volume 7 just came out. And there's also going to be a role-playing video game that's coming out the same quarter as the anime.
Right.
So that's pretty smart marketing.
Right.
So it's licensed by Impress, which has been licensing a lot of really good books lately.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of them, yeah.
Personally, what I really love about this book is unlike anything we've seen out there. When you look at it, you might go, it kind of reminds me a little of AOT, or reminds me a little of this, and it's going to be just a little. But the story itself is really different. And the speed of the manga is very quick. It's only 14 volumes.
Right.
So it's fast-paced, but it doesn't seem that way when you're reading it.
Right.
You're reading it, you're enjoying it, and the next thing you know, it tells you time has passed. But the way it's being written, it's wonderfully done because you don't feel like you're being rushed. You feel like, hey, this is just a normal pace, a normal flow.
Right.
And actually, you're going through periods of time pretty quickly.
Right.
The character himself, Sung, I'm just going to say, he's kind of nondescript in the beginning. And as you mentioned, he's E rank. No one really pays attention to him or expects anything out of him. And he's one of these underdog characters. And he gets, I guess you can say, he gets favored on. When you read the book, the first volume, you have to decide whether that was a blessing or not for him, how he ends up getting these powers.
Right.
And he's really determined to help his mom out. They have a lot of medical bills.
Yes.
And so he wants to proactively help his mom. And by working the dungeons, he's doing that.
Right.
So he's really a good son. He's dedicated. When the story starts, the dad is assumed dead.
Right. And
he has a sister.
Right. And he lives with the sister lives with him, because you kind of thought he was the younger brother, and you find out no, he's the older one, and it's kind of funny now because then when it gets to later, he looks like the older sibling. It's like, wait a minute, he tricked us.
And they do have some other characters that appear from other countries, China, America, Japan.
Yeah.
So they've got, in this universe, they've got hunters all over the world.
Right.
So it's not just specifically happening in South Korea.
Right. That'd be kind of weird, too, if it did. Like, why is it only this place?
His sister's name is Sung Jina, or Jina Sung.
Okay, thank you.
I'll call him Sung, and we'll call her Jina.
Okay, good.
But it's crazy. This book is crazy good. It is, wow, it's one of those books you read it, and it's like, where have you been? I've needed this, but I didn't know that I needed this book. It's really, really good.
Yes, absolutely. It's probably one of the best mangas or manhwas or graphic novels, or however you want to categorize it as. It's one of the best out there. Now, we have no idea how it ends because we said we're only 6 volumes in, so...
And they're being released pretty slowly.
Right, so we're nearly... After the 7th one, we'll be halfway through the series. We haven't seen any spoilers, so we're really avoiding to see how it ends in Korean, because people will translate and tell you the stuff and really go out of their way to translate and tell you, oh, it ends with so-and-so. Dang you!
So, just in case you're interested, actually, in April of this year, they announced they're going to have a sequel titled Solo Leveling Ragnarok. I don't know what is the fascination with everyone naming everything Ragnarok.
Yeah, now, last couple of years, they've been really into that. Weird, right?
Now, the web novel was released in April, on April 10th. And the webtoon adaptation is also under development.
Okay.
So they really are moving forward with this and marketing and getting every media version out, which is really smart that they planned for this. They didn't wait to see how it's going to be taken.
Right.
I like that because it's like they're using the law of attraction. We expect this to be good. We know how great this is.
Mm-hmm.
We expect it to be popular, and this is what we expect. And that's a good way to be with anything that you do.
Right.
Expecting it to be fantastic and having that mindset and moving forward like, this is how it's going to go.
Right.
So I really admire them for doing that because, unfortunately, there's a lot of mangas we've read, and there's no anime adaptation, there's no novel, there's no games or anything, because they're saying, well, we wanted to see how it's going to perform. Just put it out there.
Right, and do it right.
Right, because when it explodes or is something fantastic and you don't have anything else to satiate,
basically.
Satiate the audience with, you disappoint us, and then you lose people because you're like, okay, well, there's nothing else here, and then you move on to another franchise.
Right.
So this is really smart to do.
Right. It was kind of running with how High Card did its advertisement promotion. Crunchyroll just provided the ability to watch it. They didn't promote it aside from a trailer. They really wanted to focus on Bloody Daddies and Blue Lock and others. They just kind of just allowed it to be on there. But High Card really did its own advertising, made all their own trailers, all their own marketing, all their own collaborations, a bunch of different media spin-offs like mangas and audios and things. So they're on the same page when it comes to promoting, and you can't just rely on your publisher because they might not do as much as you think, and then you have to plan ahead and cover every base in case it does blow up and you already have the things provided for people to buy.
Right. Now, the anime TV series is actually being written by someone else, Noboru Kimura.
Okay.
So I'm really hoping that it's as close to one as possible, because to take this and change it would be a grave mistake.
Right.
The way it starts out, the way it explodes in that first volume, to remove any of that or take it away would not be a good idea, as well as how he develops and the character growth that quickly happens. To take any of that out would just really be a really bad idea. So I hope they're not doing that with this adaptation. The genre is action and fantasy. I think it should be horror too.
In some cases,
supernatural. Yeah. I think it crosses into some other genres personally, but it's really just one of those must reads. If you don't read any other manga, you should read Solo Leveling.
Right.
When you see the book, it's also bigger than a regular manga, which also the pages are larger. And like I said, the color and the artwork is just fantastic. And part of what really captivates you is the beauty of the covers. He's featured on a couple of covers, and then they have, and I don't remember her name, forgive me, they have the Chinese delegate, I should say, for the hunters. They also have on another cover.
Well, it looks like they pick certain panels to use from the manga, and then they make that the cover.
Her name is Shahain.
Shahain, okay.
Yes.
There are a lot of times we see like the covers within the book, so it looks like that's how they make their covers. They don't make specific art for it. They just take a panel they think fits with the current volume and make that the cover, and then you'll see the picture again within there, which is smart.
Right.
It's just as long as they pick something boring, at least they didn't do that.
Well, there's nothing boring in this book. There's absolutely nothing boring in this book. It's never slow. It's never uninteresting. This, again, is the best manhwa we've read.
Yeah.
And looking forward to reading more. We've seen some of the Korean anime, a few of them, but this deserves and has earned and is worthy of an anime series.
Right.
And so glad that they saw fit to make one and not leave people waiting years, which would really ruin the momentum that this manga has.
Right.
So if you have read Solo Leveling, let us know in the comments below. How many volumes have you read? Are you current? If you're not in the US and you're in Japan, have you read the entire webcomic or manga series?
Right.
Let us know. We're really interested.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates on these videos, favorite anime series, animated shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And we do plan on doing a podcast on the manga series for sure. There's no way we're going to miss that, so stay tuned for that the first quarter of 2024.
Yes.
And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. If we're not already subscribed to you, let us know in the comments below, and we'll be sure to do that. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.